Hey, what's up guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. In this video, we're going to take a look at all of the wildfires, not all of them because there's too many to look at. There's hundreds and hundreds on practically every continent around the world. You're looking at a map here of just carbon monoxide that's being generated from the ongoing wildfire situation that, quite honestly, I think is the worst I've ever seen it. And I've been watching this for a long time. Doesn't mean I'm the oracle of knowledge when it comes to all wildfires that have ever occurred on the earth and that are currently occurring. I'm just saying, in all my years, I've never seen this many at one time in both the north and southern hemisphere. So that's the carbon monoxide that we're dealing with. We're also dealing with, on a global scale also, Sahara sand. All of this green and tan you see. I mean, yeah, there should be a little bit over here off the west coast of Africa. I get it. You're talking about one of the largest deserts in the world. But to have this sand being transported all around the world, at least to me, seems a little unprecedented. It is dampening the hurricane process that occurs every year in the summer in the northern hemisphere, summer in the southern hemisphere. Again, those cyclones have a job, and they transfer heat away from the equator to kind of help keep things balanced out, and they're not able to do their job because they don't like that sand either. So you've got the sand, you've got the carbon monoxide, and then that creates air quality issues. Looking at an event map over here at roseedis.org, and all I have on this map is air quality and wildfires. And again, you can see based off of individualism here on this map, you're talking about a lot of wildfires and a lot of very poor air quality conditions, which is understandable. After looking at that and that, the air is kind of deplorable all around the world. We're going to come back and take a closer look at some of these areas here in just a moment. There's way too many to look at all of them, but we are going to look at some. And I want to show you guys a rare observation that I made with regard to wildfires and earthquakes, of all things. And we're going to come back and take a look at that here in a moment. Over here at the website, I featured a photo by Carlos Skywatcher out of Portugal, sending in beautiful red sunsets. More than likely, these are also being influenced by a combination of the Sahara sand and wildfire smoke that's sweeping the globe. Quick look at the Schumann resonance that's back up and running over here at the website. All in all, pretty quiet. A little bit of background noise, a brief spike about 36 hours ago, but nothing major. Hopping over to the Yellowstone supervolcano caldera, looking at the seismographs that monitor the mighty supervolcano. Pretty quiet, really, considering we've been seeing earthquakes over here, small earthquakes, off and on for the last couple of weeks. I don't see any earthquakes at the caldera at the moment. You can see a little bit of activity over here in the very busy northwestern quadrant, some small magma intrusion. That's the darker blue that we're seeing here and there. But all in all, pretty quiet at the supervolcano caldera. Coming over here to nullschool.net, looking at the Sahara sand situation. And literally, this system right here is trying to outrun this sand plume. We're going to come back and take a closer look at that here in a moment. But the latest update from the National Hurricane Center regarding these three systems: disturbance number 3, 0% chance of forming. The one here in the middle, disturbance number 2, they're giving it a 40% chance of forming over the next 5 days. This one here too, disturbance number 1, also a 40% chance of forming in the next 5 days. We'll have to wait and see, but as long as there's a large abundance of sand out here, there's not going to be any hurricanes. And as we step this forward 8 hours at a time, you can see this cyclone back here, or at least the one that was trying to form, it's no longer there. I mean, the rotation is barely visible. You've got this one in the front. It's just now crossing the Lesser Antilles, and that one might have a chance to at least become a tropical storm, but if it avoids the sand, it's still going to interact with these islands, and anytime cyclones interact with land, you know what happens. They weaken and in some cases fall apart. So we might have a chance to see one of these storms come through and then make its way up the eastern seaboard, quite possibly as a tropical storm, but nothing more than that. There's still too much sand out here, and hurricanes do not like this sand at all. And you can see yet another large wave of sand coming off the west coast. This is forecasted to start drifting across the ocean on the 11th here in about 3 days. So the sand's not going away anytime soon. So don't expect a whole lot of hurricane activity out here in the Atlantic Ocean. Ocean. Yeah, you might see a little bit of activity over here in the eastern Pacific Ocean. Those are not going to affect land. They'll just drift off into the cooler waters and move a little bit of heat from the equator up into the northern cooler waters like they're supposed to do. But other than that, it's going to be pretty quiet over in the Atlantic Ocean. Had somebody ask a good question yesterday after I put up the video about the closing of the Oroville Dam hydro plant in California. Why I didn't mention any power outages following the closing of the power plant. And at the time I did the video, there were not any major power outages in California. I think it was below 8,000. And it seems like here recently there's always a few power outages in California. But we're going to go to California, take a look at the area of Oroville Dam. Oroville sits in Butte County, which is right here. Butte County is showing 8 power outages right now as I do this video. That's where the power plant sits. But around the power plant, you can see here in Plumas County, 2,754. Down here in Yuba County, 1,701. And those are customers, not individuals. So we're looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of just over 4,000 customers right now that could have been affected by the closing of the Oroville Dam power plant, but I didn't want to say anything because at the time I wasn't 100% sure. But they're starting to increase in that area over here at poweroutage.us, and they very well could be related to the closing of the Oroville Dam power plant. I want to show you guys now a really weird observation, and this was shared with me by a young lady by the name of Marcine P., who happened to notice the earthquake starting to form a big oval or like a large circle out here in the western United States. That's what we're looking at here at the USGS map. These are the last 30 days, and you can see an obvious pattern here. Very large, what looks like a elongated circle. She noticed it over here at the Global Seismic Network. This is just a different map layout, and it too is showing the earthquakes in a roundish formation. And this has been coming together now for the last several months. It's starting to form a large circle. Now coming over here to InciWeb, these are the current ongoing wildfires in the western United States. See a pattern? They too are forming what looks like a large circle out here in the western half of the United States. Here's the wildfires on the left, earthquakes in the center, earthquakes over here on the right. They look almost identical. And these are in the last 30 days, and you've got these wildfires over here that seem to be following the same pattern as the earthquakes. That is one strange coincidence, guys. I've never seen that before, but it does appear that the wildfires are following the earthquakes that are forming a very large circle in the western half of the United States. I want to take you guys now back to the event map over here at the RSOE EDIS. They keep track of a lot of events that are ongoing around the world. Right now, what I have listed on here are just wildfires and air quality conditions, and there's too many wildfires to even count. There's over 475 right here in this one area up here in eastern Siberia. Cluster represents 475 events just right there, and growing. I mean, it's getting bigger and bigger as we move forward in time. Over here in the western United States, this cluster right here represents 68 wildfires just in that area, and there's a lot more. There are several, as we noticed over here at InciWeb, all kinds of wildfires burning around the western United States. With the combination of the wildfire smoke and the Sahara sand, it's creating unhealthy air quality conditions. Here's another video from Mary Hall looking down from the International Space Station over the western half of the United States. This would be the west central United States. Look at that thick smoke plume from August 7th of 2021. Just incredible. I mean, we have got a lot of wildfires now around the world. It's like the whole world's on fire. Every continent has some sort of wildfire activity. We've got several wildfires in the western half of the United States. Up in Canada, I got an email the other day from a person up in Canada that said they were evacuating their area as wildfires continue to rage up in Canada. They're down in South America, over in Africa, in Europe, up in eastern Siberia. There's wildfires down here in Australia that are not showing up on this map, but if we go over here to Zoom Earth, there they are, August 7th of 2021. There's a large island off the north coast of Australia loaded with wildfires. Northern Australia, don't know exactly how many, but they're clearly visible over here at Zoom Earth. Some here, all along this edge here, several up and through here. And then out here on this island, and they're not showing up over here on this map. Maybe they just haven't had a chance to put them on yet. But those wildfires are affecting the air quality up in Indonesia. And it goes back to the map I showed you earlier about all the carbon monoxide circulating the globe from all of these wildfires. It's a global event that's affecting the air quality around the earth. The red icons you see right here, we'll take a look, for instance, just over here in Bangkok. Risk alert air quality index, unhealthy. Going down to Tasmania, looking at the air quality, unhealthy in Tasmania. Near Johannesburg, air quality unhealthy. All of the red circles you see on this map represent unhealthy air quality. Here in the central United States, same thing. Over in the west central United States, same thing. Virgin Valley, unhealthy air. And it stands to reason with all the wildfires all over the world, there's going to be unhealthy air conditions. And you can click on articles that give a lot more detail about the unhealthy air quality conditions and the exact locations near Salt Lake City. That's what you saw here from the International Space Station. Looking down from 250 miles above Earth, you can see why the air quality is unhealthy. Right there's exactly why. Multiple people were evacuated by the hundreds over in Greece and in Turkey from the recent wildfires that are still ongoing right now as I do this video. Here's a larger view of all the wildfires that are currently underway. You can see the top of the earth over here is literally a shade of brown that extends for over 2, maybe even 3,000 miles from the over 400 wildfires that are currently burning now in eastern Siberia. Once again, we do have action down here in northern Australia. You can see it over here on this map. All of these orange circles represent wildfires. Just an unbelievable scene. It's literally like the earth is on fire. Here's another view from Zoom Earth looking down at like the Utah, Las Vegas area, extending over into California, obviously, and up into Oregon, Washington, Canada. It's extending all across the United States. But on this day, which was yesterday, the 7th, the air was really bad yesterday in this area. It was very stagnant, and you could tell it was just kind of stalled over that area. But it extends all across the United States, and for the most part, to some degree around the world. But you can see the carbon monoxide coming off of every continent around planet Earth. I want to share with you guys some photos that have been sent in here recently of sunrises, sunsets, and even the moon that have been influenced by all of this wildfire smoke and Sahara sand that's making its way around the globe. This is yesterday, Las Vegas, Nevada. Photos sent in by Juan of a orange and white sun. More photos from Las Vegas. Also yesterday, sent in by George B., who looked up and saw a red sun in the sky as all of that wildfire smoke that we saw even here from the International Space Station seemed to just stall over Las Vegas and Salt Lake City, Utah. It was very thick yesterday, and a lot of it was coming from California, even influencing the sunset in Bristol, United Kingdom. Photos sent in by Tom. That could be a combination of smoke and Sahara sand. Beautiful sunset here by Carlos Skywatcher. Red sunset, more than likely being influenced by Sahara sand and wildfire smoke. That is an absolutely beautiful sunset by Carlos Skywatcher out of Portugal. Another photo of the sun. This time it looks yellow gold, sent in by Julie out of Hillsdale, Illinois. Photo of the sun here by the Reed family out of upstate South Carolina, being influenced by the Sahara sand. Scott S. out of Oklahoma. This one was influenced by not only the sand, but wildfire smoke. This one was predominantly wildfire smoke by Chauncey out of Riverside, California. These next photos were sent in by Mark out of Kansas. These are sunsets taken in August of 2021, just here a couple of days ago. Looks like a big pink rogue planet setting off in the western sky, visible from Kansas. Awesome photos sent in by Mark. This one here looks like it just dominates the entire horizon. Another photo by Mark as part of the sun's tucked in behind some clouds as it's diving down below the horizon at sunset. Kimberly out of Texas. This is the moon. The moon was red, being influenced by wildfire smoke and Sahara sand. Christy out of Henderson, North Carolina. That's the sun behind Sahara sand and wildfire smoke. Another photo of the moon out of Peru, Indiana, taken by Jason S. back in July. Golden sky, Peru, Indiana. Another photo by Jason S. being influenced by wildfire smoke and sand. Jessica, this is a sunset out of Queens, New York. Just incredible. Another photo by Joe and Rhonda out of Hoover, Alabama, of yet another spectacular sunset. Photo here sent in by Christina out of Jay, Oklahoma. Sky looks like a fiery red in Oklahoma and in Maine. Photo sent in by Bobby from August 6th of 2021. This is a sunset, and the sky looked just like it did in Oklahoma. Roy T. out of Alberta, Canada, August 5th, sunrise. And guys, I've got many more pictures to share with you guys of incredible sunrises and sunsets from all across the country, but I wanted to touch on the wildfire situation and the air pollution that's ongoing, as we have got an abundance of not only Sahara sand, but now we've got carbon monoxide that's sweeping the globe from all of these wildfires that are pretty much on every continent, even down in Australia. Right now, as I do this video, here's a worldwide view of hundreds of wildfires going on at the same time, and we've had a lot of activity going on here recently. Just seems like here recently there's been an increase in wildfires, extreme flooding, mega droughts, and of course earthquake activity, and especially out here in the western United States where we've got earthquake activity that is aligning with wildfire activity. Never seen anything like it. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there.